Recording? We are recording. Hi, welcome back. Secret House against
Secret House.
Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture conversations, largely talking about independent, underground, avant-garde, experimental hip-hop shit. Rap music's mostly, I suppose. That's accurate, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, today we're talking about a collaborative album between MC, rapper, poet, artist, Pink Navel, and producer, musician, multi-instrumentalist extraordinaire, Kenny Segal. How to Capture Playful. It is 17 songs, 46 minutes. It came out last month, October 20th. We've been sitting on this one for a while. We want to record, but we were fucking busy and
Busy with stuff.
yeah, check out our other video that talks about that. Secret House sucks. Mastered by the legendary Daddy Kev. Shout out. We just saw him a couple months ago out here with Rory, Rap Ferreira. What we like to do when we review an artist that we haven't discussed on the channel before, especially one such as Pink Navel, who is an upcoming emerging talent. How do you know Pink Navel?
I don't really.
Okay.
I'm aware of like the broader Ruby Yacht landscape. He's on the Fielded. He was on the Reese Langston.
He's dope on that
literally got them
too.
up here.
That was my favorite track on the
Son. He
Fielded.
was on the Rory. But yeah, first time listening to an actual Pink Navel project for me.
Okay. Yeah, Rubiat. He's a label mate with on Rory's label, on Rap Ferreira's label. I listened to his album Epic that came out a few years ago, but it was like a live recording album.
Okay.
And that one I couldn't really get into it. And then I also listened to Draft Track, which is an album that came out before that, and that also didn't hit for me. I heard him. I could understand the appeal, but it was just something that didn't really speak to me. You know how art does. Like sometimes some things just don't hit for some people, as we were talking about on that last A$AP Rock review. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Rap Ferreira. He's perhaps my favorite MC that I like to listen to these days. So I kept an open ear and open mind for this one. When I heard that he was doing it with Kenny Segal, I was like, word. Present Vendor, the first solo that came out,
Yep.
I heard it and I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. And then I immediately messaged Rory, and then he left me on read. But I was super hyped and I was pretty drunk, so maybe in my message to him it was sounded like crazy rambling. But I really loved it, and I got really excited for the idea of an album because I didn't know an album was coming out. I thought it was just a single. But yeah, this album is to me phenomenal. I wouldn't be surprised if this is my album of the year.
Wow.
That's how much I like it. Yeah. I feel like there's like a skill-based matchmaking cheat code that fucking Kenny Segal is doing somehow. He might be my producer of the year this year because everything he fucking touches is just elevated slightly above his contemporaries when it comes to the production shit. He's fucking amazing. And this album really spoke to me in a variety of ways that we'll get into soon, but I really liked it right off a rip. How you do?
Yeah, I would say I'm a fan. I have like a bit of a predisposition against like quote nerdcore rap.
Sure.
And I don't mean any disrespect to MC Front a lot or Mega Ran or
Mega Ran's a homie.
Or
yeah.
the Proto Man or whoever. But I put MC Chris. Or I've heard some things, but like
I've got some homies in the nerd rap community.
But I think maybe it's because YouTube has like poisoned my brain.
Sure.
That my like gut reaction to any rap about any kind of nerdy subject is just like, I spit fire like Charizard. I hit you round the head like Captain America. I'm big like the Iron Giant. I'm X like thing you've heard of.
This
Reference,
EP
reference,
is
reference,
all about
reference.
Thor. Yeah.
Yeah, like here's a thing that you've heard of. I'm like this, and I just like can't stand that kind of media in general, like very reference-based stuff. It's why I don't really get along with the Star Wars movies like that.
Sure.
Or the Marvel movies for that matter. Just never really been my scene. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd, but
yeah, you are. We like now that you've been searching for these PS4, these PS2 games. You just pick up PS2.
I love my
we go to
PS2
we go to all these spots to go check out used games and shit, and just like, oh, they got the Japanese version of this, or this is the English. Yeah, like I'm like, yo, bro, like you're hella, Jet is hella Japanese, like more than most Japanese people I know. He knows about gaming. But I feel you on that. Like, and that's the thing. Like this album is very much a kind of loose but cohesive concept album where gaming kind of takes center stage. It's all filtered through a kind of day-to-day existence experience, though, where it's not outright saying, I'm a gamer, I identify as gaming culture, as much as it is like taking gaming signifiers and terms and running through like IRL, in real life experiences, and tying those like kind of larger cultural points to something identifiable. He cultivates like this experience as a gamer, and largely uses it to kind of pinpoint his journey in rap to a degree. And so like I'm also highly critical of the super self-referential type of shit. I hate when like I don't like juggernauting when like a meme of something comes through in another form of media as the meme in the media, like you know, Juggernaut, I'm the Juggernaut bitch in an X-Men movie. I don't like a lot of that stuff. And even though like so much of this album speaks to me as a gamer, I've never really identified as gamer. Like I've never framed my life or experiences through that. But you know, I've watched the Smash Brothers documentary because I was playing Smash at the time. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm more of a hip hop human being. I'm more of a other things than gaming. But this album is really I really love the kind of youthful exuberance and whimsy that Pink Navel is able to kind of run us through on these magical beats. He's a like heavy poetic, like he's got this heavy poetic headspace to make all these songs and meanings kind of collapse based on the titles and personal experiences, and the emotion he's able to capture sonically within that. It's just really fun. There's like an injection of heavy philosophical, like utility, existential, kinesthetic movement, or fascinating like depth to things that like in a way that you might get from like a children's story. Yes. Like you can really pull something out. It's a very simple, like that song Present Vendor is all about, it is
an NPC from Zelda.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, I went wild when I heard it. It's such an interesting twist on like the hero story. It's a very kind of like meta modern, postmodern twist on the hero story. It's about, and I'm not a big Zelda or Link guy, but Beetle is the NPC loot vendor in all the games. So he's the merchant in Hyrule or wherever you're on the map, and he's just like shows up so you can buy shit. Yes. And it takes that idea of like this
while
dude
carrying like a gigantic backpack 3 times the size of him.
Yeah, and it's
with
just
all your
like
potions and weapons you might need.
It's just like, you know, he's just a dude constantly trying to like slang gear in this world of like pre-capitalist society. But the way that Pink Navel is able to like put you in that space of a character you never thought about, and the importance and the kind of duty and the existential angst and difficulty of having that, like living that life, is so fucking interesting. You don't even need to know about it, but like just listening to the lyrics is like, he's been apostle, he's been boss, he's been exhausted.
I mean, he just gets off on that
and
chorus.
The fucking like, rhyming,
the flow and the
just,
rhyming on there.
Yeah,
like, he goes crazy on it.
I and there's a lot of moments on this album that are like that. First off, he's a tremendous like wordsmith, and he complements Kenny Segal's beats so well. The way that he approaches things with different cadences and flows and approaches. He does a lot of singing on this album too, which I'm not going to say that it's good or bad singing, but I will let you guys know if you listen to it and you say it's bad singing. I'm a fan of so-called bad singing. I love old Y Anticon shit before he really started singing. I like the sing-song styles. I like it when somebody's singing and it just sounds like, okay, they're fucking singing.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, I also grew up, you know, black and Filipino. My mom was singing all the time in the house. Filipinos, we just did that. So I'm used to hearing a lot of people sing some shit, but still loving some Simon and Garfunkel, Scarborough Fair by my auntie who can't fucking really sing. And like, I don't think he's a bad singer. In fact, a lot of these are earworms that I just get stuck in my head.
I didn't care for the singing on this.
Yeah?
But also, I do feel like that is a very intentional part of the craft of the song. I don't think you're supposed to interpret this as good singing.
Sure.
Just in the same way that ODB going, I
feel that.
Not like...
That's a good point.
You know, like this isn't Björk.
Yeah.
You know? This isn't Beyonce for that matter.
Celine Dion
Celine
type of-
Dion.
yeah.
This is not a technical demonstration of singing. This is, from the heart, like very direct.
It makes me
And
feel
often
like
very
I can sing it
evocative.
too.
Like, yeah, like you
I'm
can
not a
s-
singer. I can't carry a note like that. But
it's got like an everyman element to
Yeah.
it that I think works really well. And that's something I do actually really enjoy about this record, is that even when there are like references, I think he's quite tasteful in how he chooses vocabulary that is evocative even when he's like talking about some video game shit. He's like the type to wave dash while rapping. I'm not a Smash player. I don't know how to wave dash. A lot of people who, listen to this kind of music don't know what a wave dash is. But if somebody tells me I'm wave dashing while they're like getting off, like sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's evocative.
Support class IRL.
Yeah.
Like, that's dope. It's like, yeah, he supports, he helps his friends in real life. Like, but a support class, like I play Apex Legends, like you play support class and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but he's just so amazing, and the beats are so unusual. The second song, New Tech, that beat is so off kilter, featuring like this truncated sample triggers, a variety of gaming blips and dribbles and sounds that really add to this kind of video gamey approach without being overtly, here's some 8-bit shit.
Yeah.
Like, but his cadences on that shit is, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, just dun 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 dun. And he is so effortlessly bombing so many different fucking styles and cadences on this album that they just get stuck in my head. Even the singing shit, like, to me, these are songs that I feel like I can sing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if there was a karaoke bar that actually had like speed run on there, I would like singing it. But on top of the singing also being charming and endearing to me, and also just flat out catchy to me, the ideas and topics that he's parsing out on almost every single track on this album as they relate to these gaming centric themes is just dope. Like speed run, right? We all know what a speed run is if you game or are in some proximity to the internet gaming sphere of some sort. A speed run is somebody trying to get through the game as fast as possible and things. And like that song is just like him talking about all of these things and how we practice and repeat our rituals to get things through as quickly and with grace and expertise, like a speed run. And the things he's talking about are just like catchy, like pontificating on the roundness of edge. Some are so sure of it all, so sure. Yeah, and it's all gone in a flash. Like if you fuck up, the speed run's over. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many aspects of this that are dope. And on top of that, like, this is some really dope rap.
Yeah, and I think that is what separates this from a lot of the kind of YouTube nerdcore stuff that you come across, is the fact that it is an examination of all kinds of things through the lens of gaming, as opposed to just being, here's a video game thing.
Yeah, let me jam pack the idea of speedrun with as many speedrun references as I can jam pack it with. Yeah.
With the exception of character select, in which he fits together a list of characters throughout history, through a
that one is very kind of fun, but also just kind of like one of the more,
it feels like an interlude.
Yeah,
like
it's the they don't pull any punches on it. It's like the beat is a jazzy, dope, bouncy joint, and he fucking virtually bombs every single character you could think of, spanning from cartoons and anime, movies, comics, manga, video games, all of these things. And it's like, I wonder if he's memorized those verses. You know what I mean? Like if he was in the booth with it, or if he performs that live at his shows. Impressive. Fucking impressive.
100%.
That's one of my, like, I like that song, but it's one of my least favorite on the album. There are some moments here that I don't care for much. Like that one, I wouldn't necessarily say that I dislike that song. There's only one song on this album that really makes me want to skip, and it's Boss Life.
Okay.
Which is
Bowser perspective.
Yeah. Basically, from the perspective of like Bowser torment. In the life that Bowser lives, and the plumber, and it's very on the nose to the point where he makes references to like, I'll get that plumber. And it's a little bit more on the nose with the kind of towards what we're kind of criticizing in other aspects of this kind of ecosphere of like content.
Yes.
Rap content. I just don't care for that. I think it's one of those things, like the beat just doesn't speak to me either. So that combined just doesn't work. But fucking hours played. That's like, I don't know if that's like a sawtooth synth, but then the horns come and smooth it out. Production so interesting. Synergy with Sheree. Oh my god, that beat is so dope. Poet Gang playing cards, fucking dope. Side quest cracked. Blip party chat with Randall Bravery and SB the Moore. SB the Moore, I believe, is also Rubiot. Maybe Randall too, but I know Randall Bravery from his work with Joshua Virtue.
Okay.
That beat has become such an earworm for me. The little clicks and bleeps, and Randall Bravery continuously impresses me with his lyrics. Wasn't he on that AJ Sway that we just did? I think he was, but
Right.
He's dope on that. Solving Combat, which features Rap Ferreira, is dope. A little bit fast, high speed.
Yeah, he was on the Arc Flashington.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
with
it.
With Eldon Summers on that track as well.
Okay, yeah. That
Wild
one's
bunch,
really
AJ Sway.
really dope. Solving Combat with Rory is dope. It's a little bit high speed, but like gotta go fast, bombastic. Puzzle Box Fall. Yeah, and it's kind of just like talking about solving combat, how to navigate in the world of rap and shit. The last 3 album tracks on the album are really where I started to feel like, man, I really love this project. I liked it. But when we get to Maps and Navigation, Memory Card, and Tile Map, that's where I started to feel like, man, this is a really thoughtful and well put together, varied, high level talent from on all aspects of its execution. And it's just like, when I got to Memory Card, it's something about it kind of like evoked a nostalgia in me of gaming. When I was a kid, the Nintendo 64 came out, I might have been like 11 or something like that, right? And Mario 64 was one of the first games they got, and it was one of the first times in my life where I had a television in my room and I could play by myself, and I would spend hours. And I remember there was like Dire Docks, right? And it would just like, I'd be there as Mario, the character, and I was like, there's so much to do. I've got to like figure out this world and solve things. And that song Memory Card kind of, some reason I felt, when you get like a smell of something and it reminds you.
Yes.
That song triggered like a smell of me just being like, I don't know, like 1996 or 94, like before that, maybe like 94, 93, and just being like, fuck, man, life is difficult, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe 96.
I also had like a memory card moment recently because as you mentioned, I just bought a PS2 and I've been like obsessing over building up my PS2 collection.
We went to like 3 places looking for memory cards.
Yeah. So like I got a memory card from a book off secondhand shop in I got on the KO line, went to like a random stop in the suburbs, like kind of a way out like Nishi Tokyo or whatever, outside of the 23 boroughs, and I got this memory card and I brought it back and it had a single save file on it. I was like looking forward to being like, oh, what weird shit was this person playing, And it had one save file on it. And this person played a game called True Love Story 3, which was some kind of dating simulator that never left Japan. I looked this up after the fact. And he played True Love Story 3 for about 45 minutes in the summer of 2001 and then never used that memory card again.
Wow.
And I'm like, what happened to this guy? Did he just have another memory card and not needed it? Did somebody like give it to him, or did he wipe it and then just forget to delete that one save?
Yeah.
I've never played True Love Story 3. I don't
Maybe
know
that was
anything
his
about
rock bottom. Like he played this dating game over. He's like, my life sucks.
And then
I gotta
like,
get better.
After 45 minutes, he was just like, I can't do this anymore, and just like stop playing games.
I'm gonna go talk to Tomoko.
Right, exactly. But yeah, shouts out to memory cards.
Yeah, man. Like I really do like kind of the whimsy and kind of fun of this album.
He's capturing playful. It's right there in the title, right?
Yeah,
there's
man.
a playfulness in not just the content, but the lyricism. The sort of double entendres that you see as through life through the lens of gaming. There's a playfulness to it. It is a record that takes itself seriously, but at the same time, it has a degree of levity to it that you don't see on a lot of these records, and it's done with the finesse and the style and the swag that you don't typically see on this kind of music.
Yeah, to me, it kind of you know, I listened to his other albums and nothing really stuck for me. To just be quite frank with you, like, you know, I didn't listen so intently of trying to pick apart lyrics. I listened to it as like, am I aesthetically enjoying all the values he's putting together on this and the way he raps or things of that nature? And I think this is kind of like, you know, this feels like his moment. Like much of the album is about his journey as an artist and a rapper. Even ends with, you know, Tile Map, which like basically talking about like the map that he needed to figure out in order to become a better artist. It's like go to shows and see exactly what you need to become and believe, like, and become this artist. And to me it feels like, man, like you've done it. Like this is a great journey. To me the album, you know, it ebbs and flows, it changes, it switches, it incorporates a lot of different elements that just add to a really kind of phenomenal listening session. And I think that that's one of the reasons it catapulted itself so high into my list. I mean, I'm sure there's other albums that are contending with this for different values, but as I listened to it, I was just like, man, I feel you. Or, man, like that makes me feel away. Or, wow, just this beat is crazy. Or, wow, these lyrics are crazy. Pink Navel really fucking, and Kenny Segal, they really fucking
Put their whole
they
foot
put their
into it,
shit into, yeah, man, it's got a whole ankle in it. I am now a fan of Pink Navel. Surprisingly tremendous fucking album that I just was not expecting this year. This is a creeper album for me, and I think that a lot of people can appreciate this. Your weird hip hop heads, your kids, your adults. Like this is like an all ages type of album. What is that shit that they say that Einstein said, like, if you can't explain it to like a 5-year-old or a 5th grader, you don't
really
understand
it. Yeah.
yourself. And like to me, this is one of those albums that like kids can get it. Kids can get the story, but like it's dense. It's like there's more going on beyond just the kid's story. There's a moral, there's a value, there's something there that is important. And I think that they fucking execute that shit tremendously. Some of Kenny Segal's best beats, and he's had beats this year, bro. Like Maps, yeah. Like some of his best beats I think are on this album. Crazy. But yeah. Who do you
favorite
tracks? I love, man, I like a lot of these, but Present Vendor for sure.
Yeah.
Speed Run, the singing song, I listen to that so much. Blip Party Chat is also another one, and Maps and Navigation is so good. I like so many of these, but I will say Present Vendor, Speed Run, Blip Party Chat are probably my favorite 3.
I'll go with Present Vendor, Hours Played, Solving Combat.
Okay. I would recommend this to people who watch that 9-part Smash Brothers Melee's documentary on YouTube. If you game but your identity is not a gamer. Fans of Mega Ran, I would recommend this too. Fans of Serengeti, Open Mike Eagle, Rory, obviously. And also, I would recommend this to fans of early Y. Not band Y, but rapper Y. I'm talking about Oakland Azul Asylum and Reaching Quiet. I think that people that rock with those, you'll love this album too.
If you are watching Secret House and you know who Worcester is, you should check this album out. If you're watching Secret House and you know who Tokido is, you should check this album out. If you know who Jaedong is, if you know who Yoshinori Ono is, yeah, check this album out. It's great. It's a pretty wonderful and unique record that your excitement rubbed off on me with.
Good. I did kind of like champion this to you, and I even hit him with like, listen to this on my phone speaker in the middle of this bathroom in Shinjuku. Yeah. So, Secret House Against. Shout out to all our patrons. Shout out to all the people who like, subscribe. Remember, it's very easy to like. It's very easy to subscribe. And it might be easy for some of y'all to even put down on the Patreon too. I don't know how your life is, but we appreciate all of you. We'll be back.
Leave a
more
comment.
Consistently. Yeah. Oh yeah. We love the comments.
What are you playing at the moment?
What are your favorite songs?
What has this taught you about your life?
How do you feel about Dire Docks? That's a jam. It's a fucking jam. Do you know that?
Dire Docs?
Yeah.
I've watched enough random documentaries about Mario speedrunning where he like hops backwards up the stairs to pass through the painting because he's moving at like minus infinite speed or whatever, that I'm like familiar. But yeah.
When I think about it, maybe Dire Docs is the reason I got into like
Ambient
UZ,
music.
fucking Boards of Canada,
What?
fucking Brian Eno, like, because I remember being like a 10-year-old and be like, maybe not 10, maybe like 11 or 12, but still very much not jacking off all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, I would just sit there and be like, sometimes I'll just let Mario stand around, you know, he like lay down, and it's just like, yeah, life is difficult when your fucking body is made of all polygons.
Tell us your favorite video game soundtrack and why is it Ridge Racer Type 4?
This is not even the original shit. This is like some
Yeah,
other.
it's some MIDI
Apparently, there's like a million different versions of people playing this song. Like,
Nintendo
yeah.
don't usually upload like official shit onto streaming services because Nintendo are hyper protective of all their copyright shit. So there's like a million different like karaoke covers of like your various soundtracks on your streaming services.
yeah, word. Fucking Nintendo, sponsor us. Yeah, word. I love you guys. Bye.
We've been Sega and Jet Set Radio Future.
That's
Seagrass.
right.